Hey, y'all, welcome back to the Late Night Vision Show. This is episode 153. My name is Jason. I am the owner of Outdoor Legacy, and we specialize in selling all things night vision and thermal imaging. And as always, I've got my co-host, Hans, from the Hans East Texas YouTube channel, coming live from Ben Wheeler, Texas, hog hunting capital of, I don't know if it's a hog hunting capital, it's a hog capital, wild hog capital of Texas. Is that right? Somewhere in there, Hans?
Yeah, official wild hog capital of Texas. We have a parade every year in October. We crown a hog king and hog queen, which is followed by a day of festivities of barbecue contests and concerts and everything else. But it is official.
I heard that the hog queen is a big competition up there. I heard you got a lot to choose from.
They also, they do bar stool racing. Have you ever seen the motorized bar stools before?
Only like on TV or YouTube, and it looks crazy.
Yeah, they have bar stool. They have bar stool races. They do a lot of things. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. I mean, it's a small town, but I mean, we take it seriously. But no,
I can tell y'all do.
Thank you, Jason. Yep, I'm Hans, executive producer of the Late Night Vision Show.
Oh boy,
the person that makes this show run. But I want to promote again. If you listened last week, you know we've got a hog hunting tournament coming up. If you're anywhere in the East Texas area, you can email me, Hans at hansetx.com. It is the Conway Farms Hog Hunting Tournament, and it is the biggest 3-pig stringer. So if you're interested, Outdoor Legacy is giving away AGM ASP TM160 thermal monocular, and you'll get to see our brand new banner. That will be on display. I'll be out there passing out stickers and all kinds of stuff, and probably be asleep in my truck whenever the weigh-in starts. Somebody usually has to come and wake me up to get me to come out there. It's a 17-hour tournament, and it's a tough grind. It is a tough grind. But anyway,
let's be clear. This is on April 10th, 2021, correct?
April 10th, 2021, and we look forward to seeing everybody out there. I think the weather's going to be beautiful, and there's going to be lots of big pigs. So y'all email me if you're interested. I'll get you the contact information of who you need to do and talk to get signed up. So,
well, I want to say something real quick, and then we'll jump into this topic. But Hans, Mr. Executive Producer, we had a kind of a funny deal before the show started, because he's been, like, the last few weeks, he's actually been printing me show notes, emailing them to me ahead of time. It's been really, really impressive. And
I feel like this is about to be
it's about to be. No, it's a little bit. No, but we've really been, like, prepared. We've been trying to stay ahead of the game, and so this is something new. This is something new for us, and or for you anyway. It's not new for me. I'm always trying to.
My buddy Jason stresses when we tape the show on Monday evening, and we produce it live or put it out on Thursday, but Jason gets a little stressed on Monday morning when he calls up and he says, "Hey, what are we talking about tonight? We don't have a show topic." And I'm just kind of like, I guess, the free spirit, and I'm like, it'll just come to us when it comes to us, man. Don't force it. And he stresses. He wants to have show notes. So I've been Johnny on the spot the last couple of weeks, and I'm a week ahead on my show notes. And it's, for the last couple of weeks, and we'll see how long this lasts. This might be a flash in the pan, but he pulled the wrong show notes for tonight.
So I did. So this is the deal. It's we normally, if we're doing like a scope review or something, we know it a week or two in advance because we're talking about them and testing and everything. But when it's these shows like we're going to do today on just a hunting topic or something, so sometimes Hans is a little late getting me the topic, but he's been doing really good. So I printed off the wrong show notes, and I'm going to go ahead and tease it so y'all know what this is, because I was actually fully prepared for this tonight. I had the notes ready. Next week's show, it's going to be episode 154. Good Lord willing, we'll be back here next week doing a show on the new, I'm going to hold it up, Zeiss. Yes, you read that right. Zeiss. This is the DTI 335. I want to make sure I said that right. It's a funny name. DTI, 335. And this is the first thermal optic ever released by Zeiss. You know them from the high-end German daytime hunting glass. And this is their first monocular. And we will be reviewing this on the show next week.
Yep.
So come back for that next Thursday. You're not going to want to miss it. We've got some exciting stuff there with a brand new manufacturer coming into the industry. So exciting things there. That's our little sneak peek. But this week we got a fun show. Now, this is something that we've done something similar. Not, I think the way that Hans laid this out, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be cool. And it is basically listener questions. And so a lot of times, over the last 3 years we've been doing this show, we've had people give us suggestions and, leave comments or send emails or whatever and say, hey, why don't you do a show on this? And a lot of times people really just have a question that needs a short answer, and it's not a half of a show. It's not a whole show. And so it's hard to find a place to work those in. So what Hans has done is he's compiled several questions that we've gotten recently, and we're just going to kind of bullet point, one after another, go through these questions and answer them. And I think you're going to find that a lot of these questions, there's going to be other people they apply to, some, general topic stuff. So with that said, before we get into this, if you have a, single question that's not about like, hey, I need to buy a scope tomorrow, what do I buy? But if it's a general type question, something you want to know about what we use, what we suggest, how we do something, whatever it is, pretty much anything, let us know. You can drop us an email. You can, leave a comment that just says, hey, for your next frequently asked question show, here's my question or whatever. So let us know what it is, and let us know that you want us to put it in the show, because otherwise we're going to be scrambling to try to answer all your questions in the comments, which is really tough to do.
And these questions are really scattered. It's like a shotgun spray. They're all over the place. Shotgun. It's about hog hunting, coyote hunting. I mean,
they're cool. There's some good questions here.
Yeah.
So, all right, so let's get this thing started, because there's going to be 10 questions, and we got to get through these things. So first one, this question is for Hans, and it is from Scott in Meridian, Mississippi. Hans, I see your videos of you calling in hogs all the time. I've got the Convergent Bullet HP. What are your favorite calls to use?
All right, so I have seen these questions in advance because I'm the one that pulled them, so I was able to prepare.
Yeah, I saw them about 3 seconds before the show started because I had the wrong notes. But
so Jason really had no time to prepare. Yeah,
my answers are going to be completely off the cuff because I have no idea.
Well, I would say this question right here is probably one of the top 5 questions that I get all the time, because we've had on Byron South with Convergent several times. We've had on Glenn Guess from Hog Zombie several times. Y'all have seen the shows. We talk about it a bunch. I post a lot of videos on Instagram, on YouTube of calling hogs. So it is something that we do and preach, and something that we exercise regularly. But I'll tell you this, the most successful calls that I've used on the Hog Pro app, which is the app that goes along with the Convergent Bullet HP caller, the most successful call that I use is the sow hysteria. I'll run each call for about 5 minutes, depending on where I'm at. Jason will probably laugh because I'm usually full volume on everything, but I've tried to get better at just starting off at 30% volume and then gradually moving it up. But sow hysteria has been the most popular hog call that I've used calling in hogs. Second is probably the rally, which is a good one. Boar magnet. There's chaos, total chaos. Those are probably the ones that I've had the most success. But the sequence that I use, that I start off with, is start with your non-aggressive calls, like your chow time, the Mama Please or Little Squealer, something like a non-aggressive, not, doesn't sound like pigs dying.
Something to maybe pull, something to maybe pull in a sow.
So something more
not
non-aggressive.
a boar looking for a fight.
Exactly. So the non-aggressive calls, like I said, Little Squealer, Chow Time, the Rally, and then move into your aggressive calls like your Boar Magnet, or Total Chaos or Sow. I usually end with Sow Hysteria. So I'll tell you, I start usually with the Rally, and I usually end with Sow Hysteria, because Sow Hysteria has been my most successful call and the one that I always feel like I have the most chance or best chance with. So as far as volume, start about 30%, move your way up as you change calls, and that's it. I mean, I would call for at least 20 minutes with the caller, and if you haven't got anything about 20 minutes, then you can wrap it up and go to the next spot. But those are the favorite calls. Those are the ones that I've had most success with.
Okay.
Well, okay, it says my name, so I'm supposed to ask you a question next.
So you should ask me a question. That's how I don't know. You wrote the notes. I'm just here.
All right. We got a question for Jason from Lucas in Edmond, Oklahoma. I heard the Envision Halo LRs have improved glass. Will they look better than the older Halo LRs? Also, what new Envision scope would be best for me? I hunt hogs and coyotes. Majority of shots under 150 yards, and recording is a must. So it's kind of a two-part question.
Yeah.
The new Halo going to look better than the older Halo, and what Halo scope should he get?
Man, these are great. You asked me questions that I really need one more week to answer. So my shipment of Halo LRs is in the warehouse, and I have not gotten one in the office yet. So that is a great question. I will have had it by the time this show airs, but we're a few days early. So with that said, I have not personally seen it, but I have talked to a couple of the guys that I trust that do not work for Envision that have seen the new germanium lens that is in the Halo LRs that will also be in all of the Halo X's. And the word that I'm getting is that there is a noticeable improvement in the image quality due to the new germanium lens. So again, I want to see that for myself, but that is what I'm being told by very reliable sources. So I think that's a good thing. Now, moving on to the second part is which one of these optics would be best for you. You said you want an Envision, and I think that's what you said. Yeah. New Envision scope is best for you. 150 yards or less, and you want recording. So all of the new Halo X's, there's the Halo X35, 2.5 power, Halo X50, 3.5 power, and the Halo XRF, which is the 3.5 power with the built-in laser rangefinder. Those are the three models. They will all include video recording, smartphone app, and 18650 removable rechargeable batteries. With that said, personally, I would choose probably the Halo X35. That unit is going to be the 2.5 power unit. It's going to be $7,500, have all those features I just mentioned. And I think that's going to put you in the driver's seat for all of your shots under 100 yards. There'll be no problem zooming that up one time, shooting out to 150, 200 yards. Now, if you had changed this question, you said, most of my shots are going to be, say, over 75 or 100 yards, I would move up then to that Halo X50. I think that 3.5 power is going to be a little bit better. But I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, the very first Halo X that I've got my name on is going to be the Halo X35. I do that really close shooting. Again, most all of my stuff is 150 yards in. Most of it is under 50. And so I'm really excited about that model. And that's where I would go to if you forced me to choose one of them right now. And those things, hopefully, should start shipping in April. That is the current plan. I don't know, might get drug into May. I'm not sure. But right now, Envision is saying those things should start rolling out in small quantities. And I think it's going to take a few months to kind of, catch up and meet the demand, because there's a lot of guys excited about these optics.
Yeah. Well, that's a good answer.
Good.
I like that.
I'm glad you approve. All
Well,
right. So next is going to
you're
be
next.
yeah. All right. Next is going to be question for Hans from Billy in Thibodaux, Louisiana, and it is Hans. Do you have any coyote hunting tricks? I'm going to be interested to hear what you got to say here.
Yeah. So I picked this question out of a bunch of different questions because, first of all, I am really into coyote hunting right now. It's my newest obsession, and trying new things, and I've done a lot this season. I feel like I've raised my game. Been talking to people, been watching lots of videos. I love to hog hunt. Hog hunt's always going to be probably my favorite. But coyote hunt to me is the new challenge, and just kind of wanting to get as good as I can get. So, anyway, what I have been doing, and it's been working fantastic. I mean, for the last couple months, is I'm using a caller to locate coyotes. So basically, I'm throwing some vocals out there to try to see if I can pin down any coyotes that are close to me, or kind of get an idea how far away they are. I have been using some distress, rabbit distress, small animal, game, mouse distress noises if they're close by, to see if I can pull them out of the woods out into open. But the vocalations have been, I don't even know if that's a word, vocalization.
It is now.
All right. Have been working really well because
word.
not only are they calling back to the caller, but they've also been popping out of the woods, just kind of checking out, seeing what's going on. And they're not aggressive. They're not aggressive vocals. They're more of what they call like serenades, but just either, female with small pups, or, a couple of females. So they're not very aggressive vocals, but it's been getting them out of the woods. And I'm going to show you this right now. Yeah. As soon as I see a coyote out in the field, a lot of times I've had the worst problem in the past of coyotes hanging up way far away. I can see them, but they won't come closer. Nothing is getting them interested enough to get them to run in close to the call. Right now, if you're listening on iTunes, or you're not watching on YouTube, this is a $6 Primos mouse squeeze is what it's called. And $6, got it on Amazon, and it is this thing sounds like a dog chew toy, but
it is, and you can buy the whole toy for $3.
$3, anyway. I know, but since they put a picture of a coyote on it, they charged me $3 extra.
Got it right.
But this small little thing I keep in my pocket, and as soon as that coyote pops out and I see it and it hangs up, I turn my collar off completely and I start squeaking this little toy. And I swear I've had more coyotes run closer to me than I ever have. I mean, within 20, 25, 30 yards from me, to where the coyote's stopping and ultimately gets dropped. But I've called in more coyotes and closer coyotes than I ever have before with this little $6 Primos squeaker. And I've had a lot of people on Instagram, because I've been talking about it a lot, ask me what it is, where they can get it. They're not uncommon. You can probably get them anywhere, any store you want to, online. But this one happens to be Primos. I found this one is because it was the first one that popped up on the search. So I wasn't.
Yeah, and don't buy it at Amazon. Surely we can find a better retailer to support than Amazon. So keep going. Yeah.
Go to Shills. Go to Shills. Yeah. If there's a Shills near you, go to them, buy it. What the good thing about that, you get to go. It's an awesome store. They sell more guns than any other place that I've ever seen, and they've got more ammo than any other place that I've seen. So go check them out. We'll give them a free plug. How about that? So
there you go.
But okay. Get this little squeaker ball. I don't think you'll regret it at all. It gets them in close.
I knew he was going to say this because
I've been talking about
every time we're on the phone, he's like, "Man, I killed this coyote tonight," and he was hung up out there, and I hit this little thing, and he just came running. I mean, he just telling me about it all the time. So I knew. And
you've seen the videos. I mean, these coyotes have come in really. I mean, we've got some amazing videos with some new scopes that we've that we're pushing. So it's worked out great. But anyway, I've got a question for you, Jason. It's actually kind of for both of us.
Okay.
This is from Daryl in Aberdeen, South Dakota. Jason, what thermal scope do you have on your personal rifle and why? Hans, you can chime in too. So, There you go. A lot of people ask what we have on our personal rifles.
This question is very, very difficult. And the reason is because Hans and I are testing so much stuff all the time. And so I've got multiple rifles that I'll use at night. So I'll have multiple setups going it all the time. What I do try is to keep one scope that is kind of my main scope that I fall back on. And for the longest, that was the Thermion XP50 from Pulsar. And then when Hans and I started testing the Thermion XG50s before they were released in September, we both rolled into that. And I'm trying to speak for you. I don't mean to be, but we both did. We made the change at the same time. So the XG50 has been on my rifle, my main rifle. If you said, what is your go-to scope? That was it. Now, we tested a lot of stuff between then. Right now, I am about to actually sell my XG50 just because we've got so many other things coming. We're going to be testing. This thing's been sitting in my safe. It's not getting used. So I need to get it out there and, get somebody, get their hands on it, get some use out of it. But I'm going to tell you, like right now, I've got an AGM Rattler. I've got a IRA Rico 640. I am about to have, as soon as we get the very first one, I'm going to have I already mentioned earlier, the Envision Halo X35. But the two scopes that I'm really excited about, and that these are probably going to fight each other for which one I'm going to use, is going to be this Halo X35. But then also what I'm really waiting on, and this is the reason I'm getting rid of the XG right now, is the Pulsar Thermion 2 XP50. My reasoning for this is I have always been a huge fan of the lower magnification for what I do. Hans is killing a lot more coyotes than me. He really likes the 3-power. I don't mind it. I mean, I've been using the XG, doing just fine with it. But and the Rico, the 3-power on that 640. But really deep down inside, I am a 2-power guy. And that's what I really, really like with the wide field of view, because I like getting up super close on these hogs. And so the Thermion 2 XP50 is really what I'm excited to get back to, or I say get back to that XP50 magnification, and again, this Halo X35. So it's not the answer of what I'm using today. Like I said, that's going to be Rico 640 and the Rattler TS35 and 25. I've got both of those I'm testing, but Thermion 2 and Halo X. What about you?
So I'm kind of in the same boat. Like you said, we used the XG50 for a long time, loved it. And Jason sold mine. He took it back from me and sold it. But no, I'm glad somebody,
because Hans comes down here and brings me a pile of scopes and picks up a pile of scopes. And he's like, here's all this stuff. Go sell it. I've had it in my closet or in my gun safe. I'm like, man, where did you get all this stuff? I sent it to you, I guess.
Yeah, we demo some of these scopes, and then some we'll keep for an extended amount of time. So I had the XG50 for a long time, loved it. I took a Thermion XP50 back from them, so that's on my personal rifle right now. But that too, whenever the new Halo X's get here, I'll be using one of those as well as the Thermion 2 XP50, which I'm excited about. So on my personal rifle right now, it's a Thermion XP50, and then I have a test rig, which Jason was just talking about. We test so many optics on my test rifle. I did have both of the different Ricos on there for a long time, and just now put in the last few weeks the AGM Rattler 35. So that's our test rigs. I guess I'll speak for my test myself. Our test rigs are what we use probably more than anything. Every now and then we get to use or if we're in between reviews or stuff, we get to use our own personal rifles. But most of the time, I'm having to take out that test unit for hunting and getting hunting videos and stuff. But it's we run a couple different rifles, 2 or 3 different rifles a lot of times.
I was going to say that's the big deal, is that we're. I mean, there's some times we'll get into where we're just not testing anything, but in the last 12 months, I mean, it's been rare. We've had so many new optics. and we're getting out with all of them. So it is tough. It seems like we get one thing and then boom, we're on to another. So, okay, no, that sounds good. All right, another question here. Making sure our time's good. All right, question for Hans from Rick in, I guess it's Ocala, Florida. If that's not right, then somebody, it's okay. Yeah, blame Hans.
You did it.
By the way, I guess the ink in my pen just busted because I just looked down and I have ink all over me and I have no idea. It's like on my arms, it's on my hands. I have no idea what happened. So if y'all see me like looking down, rubbing my arm, there's ink everywhere. So
I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
I'm telling
this
you,
automatically goes in the Hall of Fame of
this show's already off the rails, and we're only to question 5. All right, Rick in Ocala, Florida. Hans, do you do guided hog hunts? And if so, can I book a hunt? The answer, I will answer this, is yes. They're free hunts, and you just pick your weekend. Lodging is included. All the ammo that you can shoot,
lodging, meals, whatever you want. Yep.
Tell us, Hans, do you do guided hog hunts?
That's right. I live in Nacogdoches. I can give you the address in private.
Negative.
So, Jason and I get this question a lot about doing guided hog hunts. I don't typically, and the reason is because there's a lot of different reasons. It takes a lot of time, to prepare for hunters coming in. I've done it in the past, more so just for friends. But, preparing all your spots, keeping it up, keeping hogs coming in, it's a lot of work. It also is very stressful because I'm the type of guy that wants to make sure that everybody that comes out has a great time. They shoot hogs or coyotes or whatever they want to shoot, and everybody's successful. And that doesn't always work out. That's just hunting, and that's just the way it is. There's some off nights. And I feel terrible about it, especially if somebody comes a long way to hunt. So between not having a lot of time, the stress, the work that's involved, and the fact that you and I, Jason, are so busy with this business and with the show, there's just not a lot of time to do anything. The slow seasons now in this business are still busy. So there hasn't been a drastic slowdown, which is a great thing, and we're blessed. But just really haven't gotten into the guided stuff. I do buddy stuff, but.
Yeah, and I want to chime in here too and say there's a couple things. One, obviously this huge liability. Two, I mean, you already said the work and all, but another thing is that a lot of the properties that, you or I hunt besides our own personal properties are going to be places that we've got permission on, and we don't have permission to take somebody else. I mean, taking your buddy is about as far as that farmer is going to let you stretch that. Right. And don't get me wrong. I mean, there are obviously landowners who are fine with that, but the places that I know I've got my friends that, hey, go out there to my place and go shoot these hogs. It's not cool if I'm bringing random people that are paying. It's just, that's not what they want with their places. And so, you got to be set up for it. There's some really good guides and stuff. There's some really bad guides, but you've got to be set up and it's a job. It's a business.
There's a lot of liability involved. And yes, your contacts, your people in your area that let you hunt on their land probably would not like it if they knew that you're bringing people out there and paying to do hunts. But anyway, I don't wish I had more time to do it, but unfortunately I do not. But anyway, we'll move on to the next one. Question for Jason from Travis in Hondo, Texas. Jason, I want to work in the hunting industry. What is the best way to get recognized and become pro staff with a company? That's
okay. This is a big one. I'm gonna say this. I don't know exactly what you mean here. So when you say work in the hunting industry, I don't know if you're actually looking for a real legitimate paying job. Pro staff jobs generally are not.
Well, so let me ask you this. How many people do you talk to? Like, man, it's so cool that you get to work in the hunting industry. I wish I could work, in something like this, that work with my hobby, something I love. So,
and that's what I was gonna say to this. So, my dad, and I'm not gonna go this whole long road, but he was in the hunting industry for his whole career, 35 years. And it's how I actually got into this. And I remember he owned a business, and he would have guys come in and, you know, straight out of college or whatever, and guys, just young men, eat up with the outdoors and say, hey, I want to come work for you. You know, I want to be a sales rep. I want to travel. I want to go do all this. It'd be so awesome because I love to hunt and fish. And I can just, from a kid, you know, all the way up until my dad's later years before he passed away, I can just see my dad telling those young men, say, listen, this is a great industry. If you want to work in this industry, that's great. But the first requirement is not that you love to hunt or fish, because if you get in this industry, you're going to do less hunting and fishing than you've ever done before, because your busiest times when you're working the hardest is when everybody else is hunting.
Right.
Okay. So it is very, very difficult. Like even come deer season for us, you know, November and December, it's our busiest 2 months. I mean, I'm working over 60 hours a week trying to find time to take my kids hunting. And so I would say, I'm not trying to talk somebody out of it, but I would say be careful what you wish for, because you may get in the industry and then find out, you go, man, I don't even have time to do what it is that I love. But if that's not what this question is about, and it's more about what's the best way to get recognized and become pro staff with a company. So pro staff are less valuable than ever before. And when I say that, that's not an insult to anybody, but what I mean is pro staff were very valuable before social media. But now anybody can, I mean, everybody has got a, you know, very high-end digital camera right here on their phone. They've got a high-end video camera, and they have access to the world via Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And so what you see is people are advertising for these big companies for free. I mean, whether it's Pulsar, or Envision, or Trijicon, or AGM, whatever. Every time you post a picture of a dead hog and that scope, you're doing the advertising for them. Everybody's doing it. So a lot of these companies don't even have pro staff anymore. But if they do, and you know, or say a lot of people want to come, you know, be pro staff for, you know, say Outdoor Legacy or another thermal company. Everybody has different requirements. We actually don't have pro staff, but or not in the normal general sense that people would say. My comment to this is the best way to do it is to go out and be one step above, be 2 steps above, be as far above the average as you can. And so what I mean by that is create the best possible content. That means you can't go out there, shoot a hog, blood running out of his head, take your cell phone and snap one picture from standing up above with your rifle thrown up there and the lighting's terrible, and post it and think that it's going to get anything. I mean, there's a million of those photos. If you look at guys like what Hans is a perfect example of what he's doing. I mean, he's staging these photos. He's taking a lot of time. He's taking way more time to take the photos than he is to shoot the hog, to drag the hog off. It's work. All right. Yeah. So do that. In anything that you do on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. I'm going to tell you this. This is going to be some guys that are going to bristle at this, but it is what it is. Don't cuss. Don't drink. Don't be a jerk. Don't, you know, you've got to be something that somebody that a big company is going to work with. They don't need a liability. They're looking to attract all audiences, family friendly. Women and children are a big part of the hunting industry. And if you're out there and, you know, every video, you know, you're cussing and carrying on, and, you know, you got beer cans falling out of the back of the truck in every picture and video, I'm just going to tell you straight up, these big companies are just not going to go with them because it's not the family-friendly vibe that they're looking for. I know there's exceptions to those rules, and you're going to say, yeah, but what about? So I'm just being honest with you. This is how you're going to get recognized and be a step above. It's create better content, and it's to be that all-around, you know, guy next door, girl next door, just the nice, you know, whatever, nice hunter that people, are attracted to because you just seem like an everyday nice guy. So that's my 2 cents for whatever that's worth.
No, I think that's a good one.
That's how Hans got to be sitting in the chair that he's in for whatever that's worth. That was many years ago.
Many years ago.
Now he's just a jerk, but
yeah. I've earned it.
Well,
I've earned it.
Now he won't take people hunting for free. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Yeah, next one's from me. Yeah.
All right. Okay, good deal. Question for Hans from Dan in Medina, Ohio. I'm a coyote hunter from Ohio, and I'm new to thermal. What should I consider when trying to decide on a scope?
Yeah. Medina, Dan from Medina, Ohio.
So what did I say? Medina? Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway.
Sorry from everyone from Medina, Ohio. I apologize.
We apologize, Medina.
Yes, that's my
so
fault.
The first thing, and I think if you talk to Jason or I, the first thing that you got to do is be honest with your budget. Know how much you have to spend, and make sure what you're spending is not going to financially put you in a bind, hurt you, cause problems with your marriage, all of that kind of stuff. You won't, you probably would believe, but the guys that kind of have to hide these purchases or, write checks out of a different account to pay for a scope so their wife doesn't see it. It happens all the time. But, we don't typically suggest that, but, that's your situation and it's your own business. But be honest with your budget. Know how much you have to spend and be comfortable with the amount that you've chosen. No matter what the price is or no matter what the number is, I'm confident that we can find a scope now, even more today than ever with all the choices that we have, that you can find and we can help you find a scope that you'll be happy with and something that you can be proud to use and hunt with. From there, after budget, which I think budget is the most important, from there, we're going to find out, and we want to know your conditions as far as your, hunting application, the yardages that you're typically going to be shooting at. You're a coyote hunter, but we usually ask, are you going to be doing any hog hunting? Is that something, a lot of people from up north come to Texas or somewhere in the South to do hog hunting. So they want something that's kind of, could be applicable for both conditions. But we'll ask you how far your average shot's going to be. Do you, if you feel more comfortable with higher magnification, do you prefer lower magnification? All of those come into play if you're hunting in wide open spaces or heavily wooded areas. Those type of questions need to be answered, I think, by the buyer first before you call. Mm-hmm. And then when you call, it helps us narrow down the search to easily put you into, have 2 or 3 different choices. But make sure when you do call a thermal dealer, and I do hope it's Outdoor Legacy, which you can call us at 877-350-1818.
What a time
or find all the scopes
there you go.
on outdoorlegacygear.com. But if you do choose us, or if you don't choose us, we hope that it's a good dealer that, first of all, that they test all the optics that they sell. Make sure that the people you're talking to know and have used these scopes, because if they haven't used it in the field, then there's no way for them to accurately be able to give you an answer as far as how it compares to other scopes, because it's all hearsay. And if you want hearsay, just go to Facebook. And
there you go.
So make sure you go talk to people that have used the scopes, tested the scopes, have some time behind it. Jason and I definitely do. There's a lot of other guys out there that test them. But that's my, 2 cents and my little bit of advice.
Yeah. And I think it's putting a bow on that. What I heard him say is budget and magnification. Mm-hmm. Those are the 2 things. And once you know exactly what you need there, and a lot of guys go, well, I understand that I know what my budget is, but I don't know what magnification exactly that I need. That's where we can help you. But when you get those 2 things figured out, your search is going to be way narrowed down. And that way you're not trying to compare something like an XP50 at 2 power to a Rico 384. It's just like apples and oranges. So, all right. We're running out of time.
Yeah,
we got to rush these last couple. All right.
Those last. Okay. Jason, this is for you from Justin in Provo, Utah. Jason, what scope feature would you like to see that is not currently on a model of thermal scopes?
I have absolutely no idea. I needed time to think on this. So right now, it seems to me that some of these thermal scopes have got way too much stuff. I mean, there's like, some of these settings that I just don't ever use. And I mean, I say too much. I mean, I don't, it is what it is. But I don't know. There's nothing that I long for in a thermal scope. As long as I've got video recording, as long as I've got decent battery life, I'm perfectly fine with it. But I think if there's one thing that we all want to see down the road, and I think it will happen, I think is higher resolution than 640. I mean, right now, 640 high resolution is all you're going to get in a thermal scope or a thermal handheld. And I think that we will eventually, I hope, see something in the higher. I mean, maybe it's just going to go to 720, I don't know. Maybe it's, but what I want to see is I want to see 1080. I mean, I want to see a super high resolution optic. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell y'all real quick for the guys who are going to be like, oh man, is that going to come out next year? And is this going to be something I'm going to be able to get for, $3,300? If that happens, I'll be blown away. I mean, right now there is a thermal sensor that is available with an HDMI output from iRay that can be bought by the general public. All it is this little sensor with a lens. It is this crazy little thing, and it's 30 grand. All right. That's not a scope. This is not a scope. This is the sensor with an HDMI output, and you can buy it, and it's $30,000. So what one of these scopes could possibly cost if it ever came out, I have no idea. It's going to be expensive, but I think it's going to be fun. I think eventually we'll see that. So that's I can't think of anything else that I just got to have. But 1080, 1280, I don't know. And I think I said 1080, 1280. I think is actually what maybe that little sensor is. I don't know. But yeah, super high resolution. All right, so here we go. Question for Hans from Chase in Alabama. Hans, do you even thermal? I can't even say it. I'm laughing. Do you even thermal drone, bro? Yeah, where's your thermal drone?
Yes.
This question should have been for me, actually.
It should have been. You are eat up with it, the thermal drone buzz.
Oh,
I tell you,
so bad.
I have not jumped on the wagon of being some. I'm not going to say I'm not interested in it, but
you're not interested in it. Every time I try to talk about it, your eyes glaze over.
I'm just not bought into it. I know some people through Instagram that have thermal drones, and they used them like twice, and you've never seen video out of them ever again. Now, what they have, video they have gotten is really cool, flying over, seeing pigs. But to me, in the way I hunt, it just doesn't seem very practical. It seems like a lot of work. There's a lot of trees around where we live, a lot of tall trees. I just maybe if I hunted in a more wide open area, I'd be more like excited about it. But
let me speak to this real quick.
I'm just not bought into it.
I know. I do. I want one.
I
want a regular drone. I do, and I want one, and I want a regular drone. But here's the deal. My wife bought me like one of these, $40 drones or something for Christmas a couple years ago. Christmas morning, I sent that thing up, and like a magnet, it went into our lake out there. And I mean, seriously, it could go anywhere, and it just went straight up and went into our 3.5 acre pond, just crashed, burned, never seen it again. So I guarantee you, I'm going to crash one of these things. So that's why I haven't gotten a drone. And I've got a buddy it's another dealer, and he's selling some drones, and he's into them, and he's all the time trying to get me to buy one and sending me videos. Here's what I'm going to say to it. I may be selling these things one day because I really want to. I think that it is useful for hog hunting in the right application. I don't believe that where Hans and I are in East Texas with the number of trees that we have, that it's going to be that helpful. I mean, I just don't. I think the guys that are in farm country in North Texas, in some of the other areas of the South where they got a lot of plowed ground and got big fields where, maybe broke up by tree lines or stuff. From talking to some of those guys, I think it is cool if you have access to, say, 10, 15, 20,000 acres, broke up in different places. I think you can run out there, shoot the drone up, and go see where the hogs are. Or if they're not, move to the next place. It might take you, a couple hours to drive around on that place. But for what Hans and I are doing in, the highly wooded areas, hunting small fields, I don't see that it would be. I would love one, but I can just tell you, I could send that thing straight up, look and go, okay, that was fun. Go back inside.
Well,
I don't know. It wouldn't even be any fun because then I wouldn't go hunting. I just know there was no hogs there.
Folks, he will have one soon. I promise you that.
I want one.
he
but
will have one.
But it's going to be in the top of
it'll be in the top of a tree.
65-foot tall pine tree, and I don't even want to.
There's no doubt about that. He'll have it at the top of a tree. All right, last question. Okay. We're going to get through it. And this is a question for both of us, Jason and Hans. What is the most hunting diva thing you've ever done? And I'll start because
I don't even know what
I've told this story before. The one and only time that I thought I almost got fired from this show was the time that we were supposed to start taping an episode of the Late Night Vision Show podcast. Jason was calling me like normal. We put the kids to bed, both of us do. Jason calls me when he's ready. He tried to call several times, and I didn't answer my phone. Well, I had hogs pop up on camera right about the time we get started taping, and I felt like going and shooting those hogs was more important than starting the show. And I'm gonna tell you, Jason was none too happy about calling and getting the voicemail about 15 times.
We didn't start 5 minutes late. He wasn't MIA for 15 minutes. It was a long time. And I want to be clear. This show has been delayed many, many times for Hans to shoot hogs. One night, we're sitting here talking, working on these show notes. We need to be starting. And he goes, I got hogs just popped up here at my house on camera. I'm like, really? Yeah. Oh, man, okay. Well, I'm still talking. All right. I don't care. We got a show to do. They'll be there later. They'll be there. And so I keep talking. I realize he's not paying attention. In a minute, he's like, yeah, okay. All right. Hang on just a minute. And I'm thinking, it sounds different. It doesn't sound like it did just a minute ago. Well, it's because he's outside. The next thing I hear is pow, pow, pow. Like, he goes, okay, now we can get back to the show. I'm like, you have not been paying attention for the last 5 minutes. What are you doing?
That is true.
That was. I'm used to this with him.
That was the most hunting diva thing I've ever done. Delayed the show to go shoot hogs.
I think that, I don't know exactly what hunting diva means, but I think that the one thing that I know that my wife jokes about, Hans jokes about too, is that a lot of times if, I've been really busy and I do a lot of work at night. So I reply to emails and Instagram, Facebook messages, YouTube messages, whatever. I mean, I do a lot of work at night. And so for me to go out, and again, we talked about this, shooting hogs and it's work, and you got to take pictures and it takes all this time. So I might go out there and be on my place and, see hogs. I may look off my back porch and see hogs and be like, gosh, it's a little too late. I've got some work to do. Or I always joke and say, I'm not picky. I just want it to be clear, cool, about 60 degrees, maybe 50, not too cold, not too hot. I need the conditions to be perfect, a good thermal night. I need to make sure that I've got a scope that I need video out of. And so I told Hans the other day I had had some hogs come out, and I said, I need to go shoot those hogs, but I'm going to have the such and such scope in like 3 days. I got to let those hogs go so I can get this scope mounted and shoot them with that. And he's just like, I don't even know what language you're speaking. I don't let hogs go.
His wild hogs are like farm animals. I promise. They're just out there, have no fear at all.
Oh my gosh.
Jason's wife Amanda's like, hey, do we need to call Hans to come over and shoot these hogs for us?
Oh, listen, one of
the excuses that Jason used is, I just got out of the shower and I have on my jams. So,
folks, he said that one time he thought he might get fired. Next week, episode 154 will be the Late Night Vision Show with Jason, looking for applications.
Well, He's never said jams, but he has
Jam.
Yeah. There's been a lot of excuses flying around as far as, but no, there's Jason's more smart about his hogs than I am. I'm just kill them all, whatever I have, and you actually have a plan for it, so it's a lot better than mine.
Hans's plan is shoot every single one you ever see, even though you have the greatest product release coming next week that the manufacturer is letting you test before anybody in the world knows about it, and you need to get hogs on film in 3 days from now, and Hans is out there. I'm like, come on. Could you not wait 3 days?
Can't stand it.
No, he can't do it. Can't do it.
All right, folks. All right. Well, that has been listener questions. So thank you all. We got through those pretty good, a little bit longer than normal, but there's nothing wrong with that. So if you want to have your question read, if you want a little recognition with your question, we did not have a name or a city on that last question, I just noticed. So whoever sent that in, thank you. We don't have a name. But anyway, you can email the show. All the contact information is in the description of this YouTube video. If you're listening on iTunes, you can email us at the Late Night Vision Show at gmail.com. So we appreciate that.
And just be sure to know we're probably not going to reply to you there. We'll try to answer it on here because we do get a ton of emails and a ton of questions.
So with that being said, if you're interested in purchasing any night vision or thermal optic, you can do so at outdoorlegacygear.com. That's outdoorlegacygear.com. You can call Jason at 877-350-1818. And you can always find Jason on all the socials, on Facebook, Instagram, probably any hunting forum you've ever could think of. Texas Bow Hunters, the Texas Hunting Forum, all of those he hangs out on all night answering questions just because he's a good guy.
Yeah,
trying to help you all out and give you all free advice because he's a super nice guy. You can find me on YouTube at Hans ETX. That's Hans East Texas, HANS ETX. Do reviews. I'm about to come out this week. Today's it's going to be when we release this show. It's going to be the 8th. But I will be putting out a video this week of my full review of the Rico MK1 384. That's the IRA Rico 384. I've got some hunting videos and a bunch of thermal videos to see through it, so you can check that out on my YouTube channel. You can also find me hanging out on Instagram a lot. I post a lot of pictures. I post a lot of videos. All the new stuff that we're testing. The videos get dropped on Instagram before they get dropped on YouTube. So I'm putting out more clips, shorter clips, but you can find them over there on my Instagram at Hans ETX. And I need to catch my breath.
Man, alive. Awesome. Folks, listen, we do appreciate you coming back every week. Next week, again, the plan right now, according to the show notes that I accidentally had tonight, is that we will be reviewing, again, this Zeiss DTI 335 384 resolution thermal monocular. Hans and I have been using this thing. It is awesome. We're going to give you a full review of it. Very exciting to have Zeiss coming into this industry, and we look forward to talking about that next week. So between now and then, y'all stay safe in the fields and keep making those bacon pancakes.